Hey guys, how y'all doing? Yeah, I'm back on the nostalgia train. Yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about a movie that I loved from my childhood. This was like my favorite movie as a kid. Like when I was, like if I was feeling down, maybe I was ill or something. This was the movie that I would want to watch. Because by the end of it, I'll be very, I'll be happy. I'll be feeling good. I'll be dancing. It's my favorite. It's my favorite fantasy musical movie. So, I mean, what was I going to say? Okay, I mean, like, this was the 80s, So, back then it was VHS cassette tapes. Today we've got streaming. Now you can buy a movie digitally, so we've got, technology has advanced today. So, well, back then it was VHS cassette tapes. So, yeah, so this was my favorite as a little kid. I loved this movie so much. It's The Labyrinth. I was done back in 1986, starring David Bowie, the legendary pop icon, and the late David Bowie, and Jennifer Connelly. If you've seen Top Gun Maverick, she's done a lot of great work over the years. So in this film, Jared, played by David Bowie, he's the Goblin King, and his minions, his goblins, they go and they kidnap this little boy Toby, who is the younger brother of Jennifer Connelly's character Sarah. And so the Goblin King, tells her that she's got 13 hours to come, go through the maze and get to the Goblin King's castle and rescue her brother. And that if that time expires, then he'll become one of them. He'll become a goblin too. So she has to find her way, and it's a maze, and there are traps, and he's got things to like keep her from meeting the deadline, from getting her brother before the time runs out. So he's got like little tricks up his sleeves that he's trying to use to distract her, and so that's going on. So this was the first time I saw David Bowie. I was a little kid, so I didn't know who he was. I didn't. This was the first time I saw him, and I just seeing this movie. I thought, okay, he's an actor, So I remember very vividly. There was one Saturday morning, and I kind of put this film on just to feel the groove, because I love this movie. I love the musical numbers. Magic Dance was amazing. Every time I'll put the movie on, once Magic Dance comes on, I'll start dancing to the song, because I love the song. It's such a good song, such a great musical number. So I was at that very moment in the film, and two of my aunts come into the living room, and they see Jared, and right away they just yell out David Bowie, like okay, how did you know? So they now let me know that he's a musician, because he started like belting out his musical numbers, and they were like gushing over him, and they were like tripping all over him. I was like, what? Like, see your aunts act that way over a guy. It was funny. So I was like, okay, what's going on? So that was fun. I remember that so well. That was such fun. That was like a lovely moment. So I was like, okay, this guy has got to be a really big deal for my aunts to be acting this way. To be acting like teenagers. So that was good. So that was fun. I love that. So I remember that so much. So that was really cool. So in the film, she goes through the labyrinth. She meets the different creatures there, scary looking ones. There's this part where she falls through this hole, and the walls are made up of hands, talking hands. They can do different like foam faces with their hands. It's crazy. So it's really cool. That was like one of the cool scenes, the coolest scene in the film. So eventually she goes through all the traps and everything, and she almost finds her brother. Like so he now like kind of pulls one more trick. So he now tells her like he wants her to serve him and let him be like her king as well, and and all of that. So then she now tells him that he has no power over her to make any suggestions or to keep her from getting her brother. Like really he doesn't have any power. So like she now kind of realizes, because like the whole like scenario, the whole way the film plays out is like she has a book called The Labyrinth, and it's kind of like the same story. So she kind of like, in that moment where he's trying to convince her not to take her brother and instead to like be a servant of his and to serve him and all of that, she now like starts to remember the book, and like the last line in the book that the heroine says to him in the book that overpowers him. And she's like, every time she reads the book, she's like, I always forget this part. So she now starts to like try to remember. So he's like offering her things like, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll make your dreams come true. Just, serve me. And now that, I'm older and I gotta look at it from a Christian perspective, it looks like that scene kind of played very, very, it played biblical in a way, because that was kind of like what the devil was doing when he was tempting Jesus after Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Started to tempt him and said, I'll give you this whole kingdom, see these kingdoms, I'll give them to you and all of that if you would bow down to me and worship me, if you serve me and all that. So he just kind of like watching it again, I was like, this is very interesting. Then she now says to him, you have no power over me. So that was what she was trying to remember from the book. So she now says that to him, and she was like confident. She said, like, no, you have no power. All these promises you're making, making me feel like you have the power to not, to take my brother from me, not to give him back to me and all of that. Like, no, you don't have the power to do any of that. So, that of course overpowers him, and she suddenly finds herself back in her home, and her brother is back in his crib. He's a baby. He's like 3 months old. So, so he's back in his crib. So she races up to check on him, and she sees he's there. So the film, so Jared like turns into an owl and flies out the window. So she now runs upstairs to check on her brother. Like I said, he's back in his crib, he's sleeping. So she now, make sure he's comfortable, pulls the blanket over, to make him warm. And she goes into her room, and there she starts to see all those creatures that she saw in the labyrinth, and they're like appearing to her in the reflection. So like when she looks at her mirror, she can see them behind her. But when she turns behind her to look, there's no one there, So she now sees them, and they tell her like, they miss her, and that, and eventually she misses them too, and she would love to have them be around her and all. So then they now like, that makes them like appear in the room. So they now like start a whole party, and it's kind of cool. Kind of ends on a very nice note. It's a very, very, very lovely film. It was not a box office success, unfortunately, but it was good. It now had a great cult following. It's loved by millions and millions of people over the world. When like comic conventions, you see people dress up as Jared, from the movie, David Bowie's character, so it has a cult following. Even of course, I'm one of those that love this film. It's very, very good. My favorite song is "As the World Falls Down," which David Bowie performs like in the middle part of the film. There's like a ballroom dance scene that is just beautiful. It's a masquerade ball, like a masquerade ball, So everyone has a mask on, everyone's hiding their face. So the song like plays during the masquerade ball. It's a very, very beautiful song. I really love that song. And at some point, David Bowie's like he's there, and he's like hiding behind masks and stuff, so she doesn't see him. So finally, she sees him, and they now dance, and it's very, very, it's a very, very lovely scene in the film. I really love that part in the movie. So this is my favorite movie as a little kid. When you say fantasy musical, you've got like outright musical like films like what's it called, The Sound of Music. That's a wonderful musical. That's another movie I love as a kid. That's another movie I love as a kid. But for me, this one trumps that, because it's got action, it's got really cool stuff. It's got great music too, and some magical, like some effects, really cool effects, really nice effects. There was like this scene in the end of the film where David Bowie is trying to keep Sarah from getting her brother. There's this scene where like their staircase is like upside down stairs, and it's crazy. And there's one of his songs, he's like singing one of his songs in the movie, in that scene, another cool song. And that was like cool. That effect was really cool. That was impressive. Like, wow. As a kid, that scene was like have like my jaws like on the floor, like wow, like how did they do that? That is so cool. So no, this movie is really good. I'm sure a lot of you know it. If you have not seen Labyrinth, it's a very nice film. It's a children's film. It's very nice, very entertaining, very good. I really love this film. So well, that's it for this video. I'm just still feeling nostalgic, talking about movies I loved as a kid. I love this film, and he's now that David Bowie is like no longer with us, it's even made the film even more special, even more, you know, more, more. I appreciate the film more because like I have a piece of him, that I can, still go watch and still feel happy and all of that. So yeah, it's a lovely film. It's very lovely. So well, that's it for this video. If you've enjoyed the video, please like the video. If you've seen the movie, comment in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the movie. How it made you feel as a kid. If you loved it, what were the songs in the film that you love? What song? What beautiful musical number was your favorite from the movie? And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.